Hi there, and as it's currently the World Cup, I thought I'd get out a whole bunch of football Lego. So if you like really rare minifigures, random finds on eBay, or absolute bargain vintage sets, I think in this week's video there's something for absolutely everyone. Now, if you've watched my channel for a while, you probably won't be surprised to know that I buy a fair amount of Lego. And quite often I'll find something, maybe a bargain or a rare item, and I'll buy it. When it arrives, I check everything's okay, but then just put it in storage and not really look at it. Normally because it's for a future project. So today we're going to delve into a whole load of the things that I've bought over the years. But firstly, right up to date, a few days ago I went to my local Lego store to get the current exclusive minifigures off the Builder Minifig Tower. And this month they're all sport related. And one of them is of course football related. I really like the printing on the torso, and it's got dual moulded arms, and it comes with this really cool printed 2x3 tile. I presume it's meant to be some kind of tablet device where they're watching playback of part of the game. So if you're into sports and you've got a Lego store near you, I'd thoroughly recommend going and picking some of them up. Next we're going to look at two sets of really rare minifigures, then we're going to move on to my eBay vintage absolute bargain. And the first set of rare minifigures takes us back to my second ever video which I made on this channel, way back on the 23rd of March 2017, getting on for 10 years ago. And I'll leave a link to that video in the description below and a link in the top corner of this video, and you can go back and compare my presentation skills over the years. So although I first made the video back in 2017, these minifigures came out in 2002, and it was a series of Coca-Cola branded football figures which were only ever available in Japan. Now there were two teams to collect, the red team and the white team, and there were 6 minifigures on each side, with each of them coming in an individual polybag. The only difference between the 6 figures on each side was the face print. The torsos were identical. However, on their backs they were plain with just a stripe down the middle, but each one came with a tiny individual sticker sheet with a couple of numbers on, so you could choose the number for each of your players. And you can see here I've currently got an 8 and a 9 for each of the teams. You can see here the size of the small polybags that each minifig came in, but the strange thing was the stickers weren't in the bag. As far as I could tell, they came with the bag, but they weren't inside. Now I mentioned that there were 6 of each of the white team and the red team, but they also did 2 what they called secret minifigures. And these 2 guys were pearl gold and pearl silver. They had the same stripe on their torsos with the Coca-Cola logo, but these 2 had printed numbers on the back. Now I bought these years ago, I think it was about 2012, and I hardly paid anything for them, just a few pounds each. But in getting ready for this video, I just had a quick look up on Bricklink, and they're currently selling for anything between £30 and £50. So I'm so glad I got hold of them when I did. The other 2 minifigures I've got not in their bags are the referee and the goalie. And you can see the referee here has got a classic black and white striped torso, and he's got a red card and a yellow card in his hands. And the goalie's got a dark grey torso with the same Coca-Cola printing. And then no stickers for these guys. The goalie's got a number 1 printed on his back, and the ref's got a Lego logo. Now the series contained a set of 30 polybags, and there weren't just minifigures, there were also lots of little odds and ends and mini builds. The 2 I've got here, firstly a Coca-Cola vending machine, and secondly a crate of Coca-Cola bottles. Now these other sets also came with sticker sheets, obviously not numbers to go on the back of torsos, but tiny Coca-Cola logos the size of a 1x3 brick. And quite a cool fact about the crate of Coke bottles, although this is the standard Lego crate which comes in over 350 sets over the years, up until 2 years ago this was the only set it ever appeared in red, so it's quite a rare and sought after polybag. However, 2 years ago the red crate also appeared in the giant Lego delivery truck, so nowadays it's a lot easier to come by. Now in the series they had a few other minifigures. They had a hot dog vendor, a doctor and a TV cameraman, and in amongst the sets they had a TV camera, a goal, a bench, a hot dog trolley, a drink stand, a stretcher, and a few other random things. And if you're interested, I'll put a link to the whole series in the description below. Now since the first video I made on these way back in 2017, I've managed to collect 26 out of the 30 sets. But like I said at the beginning of the video, quite often I buy things, check they're okay when they get delivered, and then put them into storage. And in getting ready for this video, I did realise I have absolutely no idea where all the other sets of this series are. I have many boxes of minifigures, and I really do need to go through them all and sort them out at some point. But for now, that's the Coca-Cola football minifigures. I imagine this is probably news to a lot of people out there, as it's a very little known theme that a lot of people don't know about. But I'd be very interested to know in the comments below if it's a theme you've collected yourself and how many of them you've managed to get. Now a lot of people like collectible minifigures, but 10 years ago in celebration of Euro 2016, Lego released a series of 16 football minifigures. At that time Germany were the current holders of the FIFA World Cup, and Lego chose 15 German football players and their manager to make up this collectible minifig series. Now at the time I believe these guys were only ever sold in Europe, but let me know in the comments below if you are aware that they were sold in any other countries. Each figure apart from the manager came with a football as their accessory, and I also think it was the first minifig series to have anything other than the plain black minifig stand. These guys came with a white version with 4 silver printed stars on. Now I'm not going to embarrass myself and even attempt to pronounce any of these guys' names. For that you can use the link in the description below and look at the list on Brickset. All the players had identical printed trousers and torsos, with a slight variation just for skin tone on the legs and on the dual moulded arms, but the back of the torsos were all unique, showing the player's name and number. The only difference in the players was the team captain, who had the German flag printed on his sleeve, and the goalie, who had a white version of the legs and a black version of the torso, but again with his name and number on the back. And then lastly we had the team manager in a casual dark blue suit, and instead of a football he had a printed 2x2 tile, helping him to plan tactics for the game. Now I bought all these a year after release in 2017 from various vendors on eBay and Bricklink, and back then I paid between £3.50 and £4.50 per figure. And to be honest, 10 years on, they haven't really increased in price much. They still sell for about £4 or so, but because of their limited release around the world, they can be tricky to get hold of. So that's the Coca-Cola football team and the German football team. Next onto the absolute bargain I found on eBay. Now this is set 3420 and it's called Championship Challenge 2, and it came out in 2002. And in case you're wondering, the set Championship Challenge 1 came out 2 years earlier in 2000. And this set was virtually a remake of the original one, and at the time cost £40 or $50. And like I said, on eBay this was an absolute bargain. It doesn't even come with its proper instruction sheet. Someone's just photocopied them onto a tiny little bits of paper and chopped them up and included them in with the set. It was described as 99% complete, but I didn't care because although it cost £30 new, this was for sale on eBay for £4.99. Now the only bits that I was really concerned about were these green base plate parts to make the football pitch out of, and they're all included. So apart from that and checking those when it first arrived, I've never actually opened this up at all. Parts of it are already part built, but I'm going to get the whole thing out and build it for the very first time since I bought it all those years ago. Now this is new territory for me making a video because I really know very little about this set. Even the picture on the box and the instructions didn't tell you much about it, because you've got this beautiful football logo but only a teeny tiny picture of the set in the corner. So I know I've got 10 of these plates which hold the players, and 2 of them with the sliding thing so you can move them up and down. There's 2 of what looks like 8x16 plates, but actually they're the thickness of a brick, and they've got turntables on them. I believe this is for the goalkeepers. I've got a bag of minifigures, but I have no idea if these are the minifigures which should come with the set, so I need to check them with the inventory. And I've got a huge bag of bricks, some separate, some put together, and some quite sun damaged. So as these instructions have been printed exceptionally small, I'm going to go inside and grab a tablet and see if I can look them up on the internet and see if I can find a better way to build this. Well, the first good thing to note is that for a 5-a-side football team, I've got all the players that I need, and they're all correct with the set inventory. Each team's got a player numbered 2, 4, 9, 10 and 11, but it must be some kind of weird football league for twins. As you can see, the face on each one's opposing team member is exactly the same as their own. So good news about the players, not so good news about the goalies. Now the 2 goalies have got very similar torsos. They're both black, and one has red printing and the other one has white printing, and on the back they've both got their number. But those of you with really good eyesight and have an eagle eye may notice that there's something slightly wrong with the one with white printing, and that's he's missing a head and a cap. Now as with all the other players, he's got to have exactly the same face as his opposing team member, but he has a white cap instead of a black one. Now I know that face print is really common to Lego football minifigures, so I've got out my box of football minifigures to see if I've got a spare one. Now these are just random minifigures which I've picked up over the years. You can see here I've got a linesman and a referee here, and they've both got stickers on their torsos. I've got several other minifigures with the same torsos that come in this set. I've got the unique Adidas Zidane minifigure, and several other figs with stickers on their torsos from different sets. But literally unknown to me until I opened this box a few minutes ago, I've got the exact minifigure which I'm missing, which is SOC 098. And you can see he's exactly the same. He's got the correct hair and the white cap, with the same face as his counterpart. So that's the minifig sorted. Now to start building the pitch. So that's the first step, the main pitch put together, and it was using all of those 8x16 panel pieces, and you can see each one's joined together to the next one by these 2x2 green tiles, and then underneath, if you flip the thing over, there's an awful lot of 2x2 red plates underneath. And very interesting, these are just regular anti-studs underneath, but the ones in between are slightly recessed, so you can see here they've got lips on them, so where you add those plates plates, they're actually recessed into, so they're the same level as the studs around them, but they've got those lips either side. I'm not entirely sure why, maybe to protect the sides and give it extra strength, but I thought it's quite an unusual technique for Lego to use. Now we're starting to build up around the edges of the pitch. Each one of the items on the end is a 2x3 plate, and then we've got an inverted double slope with a 2x2 red plate and a 1x2 grey plate, and then once that is attached it's held in place with a 2x2 green tile on top. And that was fine all the way down this side. However, on the other side we're starting to get some missing pieces and substitutions. We've got an OK one here, however we've got some missing red tiles here and we've got some black ones instead. Then down here we've got instead of the grey inverted slope, we've got a white one, and then the last one on the end is completely missing altogether. So I'm just going to have to pad this out with a few plates for the time being and keep going. And then on each corner there's a 2x10 grey brick with some plates on it, again holding it in place with a 2x2 white brick on the other corner like that. However, 2 of those are absolutely fine. The other 2 have been made up, these are already put together, have been made up with plates, so they did obviously had some 2x10 bricks missing, so they've made it up with various grey plates just to make the same size. We've now added a whole load of these large panel slope pieces around the edges, and in between those we've used some 2x2 slopes and some 1x2 bricks on top, and the same here, but 2x4 slopes and 1x4 bricks, and then a line of plates on top. And you can see an awful lot of these pieces are severely sun damaged and they're not looking their best at all. Also there's a lot more colour swaps. These are meant to be grey Technic bricks, but over here we've got some red ones, the other end we've got some white ones. We're meant to have a 1x6 tile there, and we've got a 1x2 and a 1x4, so there's a lot of substitutions going on. The seller obviously just threw some bits in to make up what he was missing, and no wonder it's only cost me £4.99. But it doesn't really matter. I'm sure lots of these pieces can be replaced very easily. There's no huge expense involved here. However, down this end there is one panel completely missing, but all these panels are meant to have stickers on them, and none of the stickers are in this set whatsoever. But also, when I opened the box that this was in, I also found another eBay purchase that I'd made. Now, I have absolutely no idea when I bought this. I don't actually remember buying it. All I know is that I've written on the bag, eBay 2017. So I must have bought it shortly after this, and there must have been a job lot of these panels. So these are all those panels. They're still white, unlike the sun-damaged ones in the set. And they've all got logos on them. They're meant to be advertising boards on the side of the football pitch. So I can replace all the miscoloured ones with these at least. I haven't got any of the white slopes and things like that, but like I said, very easy to buy in at a later date. So I'm going to pop some of these in to make it a little bit more brighter, and then we'll have to replace the other bricks at a later date. And you can see we've got adverts for a huge variety of things. We've got Legoland, then just plain Lego. We've got several Adidas ones. Adidas was a sponsor of a lot of the Lego football sets. Lego.com, we've got some Lego football logos. There's a Mindstorms one, some Lego Media, Lego Technic, some more Adidas, and then down to Lego Arctic, which was a classic theme many years ago. And I think that immediately brightens up the whole football pitch. You don't notice quite so much the horrible faded ones in between. We've got some Lego.coms down this side, and then Technic and Adidas and football down the other side, a couple on the end, and then on this side we're mirroring the same stickers as on that side. So just a couple more steps to do, and hopefully we'll be finished. Some pieces to replace at a later date, but let's see how many other bits we're missing on the last few steps. So a few more steps and it's complete, but also a few more missing pieces. Down this end we've got these 2 stanchions holding up the goalposts. We've got these lovely pipe pieces going down the sides, but there should be a net which covers the whole thing, and that's missing. Also missing between this Technic ball and the red piece here, there should have been an elastic band, so this would be sort of spring loaded, and that's for the goalie to sit on. And if we look down the other end, you'll see some horrific substitutions. Down this end, instead of having those lovely stanchion pieces, we've got a mishmash of bricks and a few slopes, and it gets it up to the right height, but it just doesn't look very nice at all. But a couple of those stanchion pieces won't cost very much. Again, missing an elastic band and also a net piece on this end. Now, to mount the team players onto the pitch themselves, each one of these pieces here has got a Technic socket on it, and on the bottom of these we've got a Technic pin, and then we've got these black brackets and also some white brackets. When you push down on the back of this, it kind of is spring loaded, and the football player can spring forwards. I'm not entirely sure how you play football with that, but let's load them in and see how it goes. Now we are all done apart from one more small random eBay purchase. Now you can see on each side of the pitch we've got 5 red flags over that side and 5 blue flags over this side, and they were meant to have stickers on them. Now in the box of this set, as well as the extra bag of the advertising slopes on each side, I also found this little bag, and that's got 5 red flags and 5 blue flags. However, they've still got their stickers on them. Now I do remember purchasing this one, unlike the slopes. However, I don't remember when I purchased them, but you can see it's got a label in there saying 3569 soccer, so they were obviously used on another set as well. But that means I can replace the flags, and every time someone scores a goal I can raise a flag and show how many they've got. So now you can see as we go along we can raise a flag each time someone scores a goal. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now because we don't have the elastic bands, the goalkeepers do tend to lie down on the job a little bit, but we'll still try and have a quick game. Now the way this works, each one of the players can rotate freely in his little indent, and when a ball goes into the indent like that, he's got a slight curve at the front of his stand. So as you turn him round, the ball moves with him, then wherever you want him to shoot, you just press down on the spring and it fires it out of the indent. And then the 2 number 10 players also have this sliding mechanism, so they've got an extension underneath their spring which can hold onto the ball, and we can angle it wherever we want, and hopefully we can get it down to the other end. So the medics were called, and you'll be pleased to know that red team number 10 was absolutely fine. He's back on the pitch, so we're going to drop the ball in the middle and let's just see if we can have a quick mini game. That's who's it going to go to. It's gone to red number 9, so he wants to try and shoot it down this way. Oh, and it hit the white team member, so we're going to go down here. He's got the goal open because the goalkeeper's lying down, so let's hopefully go this way and shoots, and he scores. But that obviously makes the red team a bit sad, so let's try and make it a draw and get it. Oh yes, he's over there, fantastic. So let's try and pass over to our red team. Yes, great pass, and then just slightly over to his teammate. Fantastic. Red number 10, goalkeeper's again on his back. Oh, he's actually standing on his head. And if he shoots, hooray, 1-1. So when I finally find all my Coca-Cola minifigs, we could have a red v white Coca-Cola match, and we could also have a friendly Germany v Germany team match. As always, I'd really like to know your thoughts in the comments below about the Coca-Cola minifigs, the German collectible minifigs, and also this set. Just before I sign off, a very quick shout out to all my channel members. Thank you so much for your support, it really is appreciated. And if anyone else is interested in becoming a channel member and getting their name on a brick in my videos, you can click on the join button below or the link in the description, and that'll tell you how. Alternatively, if you're buying anything from lego.com, please use my affiliate link in the description below. It doesn't cost you anything, but Lego give me a small commission on everything that people buy. If you've liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. You can always let me know in the comments below who you're supporting in the World Cup. But above everything else, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe for more Lego videos.